So do you lack confidence around your pricing? If so, this is going to be a great session for you to tune into, because we're going to talk about how to raise your rates and command your prices with certainty. This is a topic of discussion that I think comes up often, or comes up pretty frequently when you're at a point in your business where you're ready to pivot, where you're ready to elevate to the next level, when you are ready to start establishing yourself a little bit differently than you maybe have been before. And I don't know, I'm getting a ton of people asking this question over in my free Facebook group, High Ticket Sales Made Simple. That's the name of the Facebook group, completely free to join. So feel free to join us over there. But we're getting a lot of questions around, I'm lacking confidence in my rates. I don't know how to raise my rates, or I'm just lacking confidence in being able to command my rates and communicate the price point of my rates in a way that, like doing that confidently. So let me know, do you struggle with that at all? Hey guys, hey Jordan, hi Nicole, hey Zanika, hi Tiffany, hey Amber, hi Jasmine. This is something I want us to talk about. So lacking confidence around pricing. I think this is I want to unpack this a couple of different ways, because when you think about confidence and you think about pricing and feeling this level of uncertainty and being able to command your rates or communicate the price point, or convert clients at that price point, we need to start with the very first thing around where your confidence currently is and what's causing you to not be confident. Because I think a lot of the time people will always say, Jay, how do you maintain confidence as you're growing your business? When you're taking risks or trying new things, how do you do that with confidence? How do you move forward and being brave and doing all of that? And one thing that I was even doing a podcast, I was recording a podcast episode today, getting a guest interview, and they were asking the exact same question. And one thing that came up for me that I shared on this podcast is that confidence comes through consistency. So a lot of the time, I know for me in the very beginning stages, and maybe even for you right now, what causes you to lack confidence around your service itself? And I think a lot of the time that boils down to this lack of confidence around what it is that you're actually selling. And what I mean by that is maybe you are completely confident about the skill set that you deliver, and you're completely confident about the service that you're going to be able to provide, but you lack confidence in because you don't have a documented methodology yet, or because maybe you haven't been able to, what you do, but you haven't yet been able to clearly communicate to somebody else what it is that you do. A lot of the time, one thing that I see is there's a lack of confidence, mainly because there's a lack of preparation, and there's a lack of a proven process or a solid framework or a solid methodology that you have in place before you put yourself out there. So maybe that is what's causing you to lack confidence around your pricing, is because there's a lack of your process, your method isn't solid yet. And I think if you notice that you have a lack of confidence around your pricing, we really need to unpack what's really going on. Is it because you don't have a documented methodology? Is it because, for whatever reason it might be? I hope this is making sense. So I think that's the first thing that really comes into play when there's a lack of confidence around pricing is, are you prepared? Do you feel prepared? Or is there a part of you that is lacking this sense of certainty because you don't feel prepared? If a client were to say yes to you and a client were to pay you today, would you be able to handle that client? Would you be able to onboard that client? Would you be able to, confidently serve and support that client? A lot of the time, that's really where the disconnect is. So I think it's really important when you're in the process of raising your rates and pivoting and starting to position yourself as an expert, as a master in your craft, or whatever, is start to document what your methodology is. This is a huge thing of what we talk about in services that sell in my signature program, all in module 1, is we call it the POP method. You need to pick one problem that you're actually going to be solving. You need to pick one person that you're going to be solving that problem for, and you need to package one process. You need to document your methodology. That's really what differentiates and distinguishes somebody who's charging a higher or an elevated price point in comparison to somebody who's not, 9 times out of 10. Because when you're charging a higher price point and you're working with a higher caliber of clientele, they're not just buying the personality, right? They are investing in you because they resonate with you in some capacity, but they're not only investing in you as the person and investing in you as the personality or as the influencer or as the expert, but they're investing in your method. They're investing in your proven process. And I've noticed with our students, and I know for me too in the very beginning, there was a sense of hesitation with me to raise my rates or have confidence around raising my rates and charging higher price point because I didn't have a proven methodology. I didn't have a documented process. And that's really that's a huge distinction. So when you're at a point where you're looking to pivot and elevate your price points, is that you need to have a documented methodology. Like you need to have a process that you take your clients through to get them from where they are right now to where it is that you want them to get to. And that needs to be documented. Like when you hire a coach, and let me know, like just, has this ever happened to you? Where you've hired a coach and you get on your first coaching call and your coach is like, well, what do you want to work on today? And you're like, bruh, that's what I hired you to help me with. Like, what do you mean? What do I want to work on today? Or every time you get on a coaching call or you meet with your consultant or whatever, they're not really providing a structure. They're not really giving you the roadmap. They're like kind of guessing, and there's no clear like pathway to get from where you are to where it is that you want to be. And that's not where you want to be as a provider. Like you want to be like Siri. Like when you call up Siri and say, hey Siri, take me to the mall, Siri doesn't ask you which direction you want to go in. Like she gives you a step-by-step roadmap telling you to drive this far, at this point, turn left. Like she gives you a full route. She gives you a proven route to get you to from where you are to where it is that you want to be. And that's how you should have a similar method. You should have a similar framework. Like it needs to be documented. So that's a really, really, really huge part of probably, or as a reason why you may be lacking confidence around your pricing, is mainly because you're not fully prepared yet to guide a client at a higher, not just at an elevated price point, but with an elevated experience. And part of charging higher price point and really differentiating yourself from a generalist and establishing yourself as an expert is documenting your methodology and creating an elevated experience for your clients to go through, meaning that when your client hires you, they're also hiring peace of mind. They're also paying for certainty and confidence that you are the right guide, that you are the right shepherd to be able to help them navigate this journey. And, you don't want to go on a journey with somebody who's like, I'm going to teach you how to hike that Himalayas or whatever. And this person's not telling you what equipment you need. They're not telling you what the best route or the best path is based on your level of experience or whatever. Like you need to have a documented method. Another reason why you may be lacking confidence around your pricing is because you could be solving too many problems for too many different types of people. And this is probably the biggest thing, the biggest source of clarity that our clients get inside of services that sell. Because once you can nail down what it is you do and what problem you solve and who you solve that problem for, the more specific that your solution is, the higher the price point typically that is associated to get that service. So I'm going to give you guys an example. Are any of my students on right now? Anybody in services that sell on right now? I can use you guys as like a live example. Because this is really a huge way that allows you to differentiate yourself in pricing is by specializing. And one thing I want to touch on this is when you think about specialization, think about when you worked in your 9-to-5, or if you're currently working your 9-to-5, you're currently in corporate America, who makes more money, right? People who have like a niche specialty, they make more money than a generalist or somebody who's just in a general role. And I think it's so interesting why when we start to step into building our own business, why we have this, I know a lot of people before they join services that sell, or when they're in services that sell, or people who are in my Facebook group, they always say, Jay, I'm like scared to niche down. And one thing I had a realization today is like, where does that fear come from? Because when you apply for a job in like normal corporate America, or you apply for a 9-to-5, you're applying for a very specific position, right? Like when I applied to work at the utility I worked for, I applied for a very specific position to produce a specific result. That my performance and my paycheck was going to be based off of results I got that was in a very specific role. You know, like when they hired me to be an engineer, they hired me to be a pipeline engineer. They didn't also expect me to do like, you know, software development. They didn't also expect me to handle the billing. They didn't also expect me to do social media marketing. They hired me for a specific role. And the more specialized or the more specific the role was, typically the higher the price point associated with what my hourly rate or what my salary was going to be. And I think the same is true for you. Like when you applied for a job or the job you currently have, you applied for a specific role. You have a specific job title. You produce a specific result. They're not expecting you to wear the hat and be the person that like does the role of like 7 different departments, right? So like when you are building your business and stepping into your business full time and you think about, okay, what's really required for me to charge a higher price point and to elevate my prices and elevate the experience that my clients go through, you should have no hesitation to niching down and specializing. You already are niche and specialized based off the degree that you have, based off of, you know, even when you go to school, like when I was studying engineering, I didn't get a general engineering degree. Like you specialize based in civil engineering, mechanical engineering, you pick a specialty. And then even within those specialties, you even pick like a niche or an area of expertise within that specialty. The same needs to be true for you in your business and how you're delivering your services. If you want to like, you know, separate yourself from the herd and really position yourself to be able to start commanding a higher price point. So I hope that resonates with you as well is, you know, you already are offering your specialty now within your 9 to 5. You need to be having we call it a signature service. You need to have a signature service, a specialty, the thing that you're known for within your business. And the other thing on that, like another caveat on that I think is interesting is when you're working your 9 to 5, when you have a specialty, you have an expertise, they hire you for a specific role, you get paid and compensated a high ticket price point for it. Think about it. Like if your yearly salary is $30,000 a year, $50,000 a year, $100,000 a year, whatever, you're already getting paid 5 to 6 figures now because you're specialized in whatever you do at your 9 to 5 job. That is also available to you in your business. Like, I think it's so interesting that, you know, people are like, well, Jay, I'm scared to charge $2,000 or I'm scared to charge $5,000. I'm like, where do you work right now? And how much do you currently get paid on a monthly basis? You are already a business. You right now, exactly where you are, how you are already a business. Your job or your 9 to 5 is just your biggest client. You're already charging high ticket. Like if you, in the online space, we typically look at high ticket as something that's $1,500 to probably like $1,500, like $15,000 per client. And if you're already getting paid that now from your 9 to 5, you are already converting a 4 or 5, or maybe for some of you guys' cases, a 6-figure client. And when you really start to shift that perspective, hopefully that will help you build your own confidence and like enhance your perspective when it comes to how you're showing up in your business, because it's already happening. You're already doing it. You already, you know, have gone through the sales process and converted a 4 or 5 figure client, 4 or 5 or 6 figure client when you were going through the interview process. And, you know, like that might be because you're getting paid that on a yearly basis because you're dedicating X amount of time and being committed to producing X amount of results over a yearly time frame. But like, think about that in a month time frame, or think about that on a weekly time frame. Like when you're breaking it down to look at, to offer that perspective when you're looking at your own business and your own services. So I want to give an example of what it looks like to niche down, and why niching down is so important. And like when you offer a specialty or you decide to niche down in whatever way, it allows you to like command a higher price point. Who is on right now? Okay, I see a couple of you guys on. Let me go in the Facebook group real quick and search through some of your guys' stuff so we can use one of you guys as an example. Okay. Because I want to do an example of what it means to actually niche down. Let me see who else. Hold on, guys. I'm trying to look for an example real quick. Or if you guys are watching this right now and you're not in services that sell, let me know what service you do sell. Like, what would be your signature service if you were to have one? Or if you do have one, I want to chat about that real quick. I don't know why right now. I'm probably going to use somebody else as an example because I have it top of mind. But I'm going to chat about, oh, Tracy. Hi, Tracy. Okay, let me find you in the group because I know your stuff a little bit here. So guys, Tracy's in services that sell. Hey, Tracy. And I want to pull up how we actually work through your stuff, Tracy. So Tracy's in the education space. Oh, Tracy, do you want to just like, well, no, I can't have you come on because we're on Facebook too. I'm trying to find your stuff in the group. Okay, so Tracy's in the education space. Her pop person is Meredith. So one thing that we have our students do is we have them, when they think about your target client or your ideal client, we want you to get super specific. So we don't want you just to pick like, I help women who are age 20 to 35 who live in America. I want you to get specific in the sense of like, pick an actual name of a person that you know or a person that would need the problem that you're solving. And Tracy, her signature service is curriculum development support and learning event consulting for 5-figure service-based coaches and consultants, scaling their business with group learning experiences. And one thing that we've been able to, I guess like how you can look about this as far as like niching down. So if Tracy were to say, I'm in education and I help people with curriculum development, that can be, you know, not broad, that's pretty specific in itself. But one thing that, and Tracy, feel free to pop what your signature service is in the comments as I'm trying to search the group for like what your signature service started as before you joined services that sell and what your signature service is now that you've gone through the process. But just so we can like see the before and after. And this is why it's so important to niche down and to specialize and to like own a lane, because you're able to position yourself and charge a higher ticket price point for it. So one thing that like Tracy helps individuals do and like helps establish coaches do is think about like this. Most coaches in the online space, they don't have an educational background. And when you're coaching somebody else, you're having to depart what you know and put it in a methodology or in a framework or in a way where you may, as a coach or as a consultant, you maybe know how to get the result for yourself, but being able as a coach to teach somebody else how to get the results on their own are two very different skill sets. So I look at somebody would hire Tracy when they have, they're already a successful coach, but they're looking to up level or either maybe document their own method into creating their own signature course, or maybe they already have a signature course, but their course isn't getting their clients consistent results. And okay, and so yeah, Tracy said I didn't have one really. She said she didn't have a signature service before joining services that sell. I was helping people build out outlines for their group programs, but now I'm focused on coaches who have launched but want to get better results without their content. So with their content. So before Tracy joined services that sell, she was helping people create the outline for their group coaching program. And now that she's in services that sell, one thing we've helped her niche down. So she does curriculum development for coaches. So think about you right now may be a coach or maybe a consultant. You may be looking to create a coaching program or an online course, and you need help developing your curriculum a little bit better to help students get more consistent and better results. And I think this is such a valuable signature service that she's providing, because there's so many people who are entering into entrepreneurship and entering into this business space who don't necessarily have the background and like, what do the learning objectives need to be? And how does your content as a coach need to be structured in a way that somebody else is able to get the result that you're helping them achieve? And this, I think, is such an important thing. So one thing that I see here as far as niche down, coaches who've already launched. So that's much more specifically than saying any coach who wants to create a program. She's now qualifying that lead by saying we are looking for coaches who've already launched their program, who've already had clients, and you've realized that you're having a struggle with helping your clients get consistent results across the board. So that's when you would hire her, because she has an education background and that's a really strong skill set that is beneficial in this online digital space when everybody out here now is becoming a teacher, is to be able, they would hire Tracy, or you would hire Tracy if you need help. If you already launched your program, you already have content, but you need help with structuring that content to make better learning objectives, get your students better results. That's an example of what it means to like niche down. Another one that we had recently that we've been going back and forth in the Facebook group about, and this is inside of my paid group. So if we have, I'm going to introduce you guys to Deanna. She is, we'll actually, helping emergent, okay. We'll do one more example on Facebook for somebody who's watching right now. And I'm going to do somebody who's not in services that sell. So I see Kia Gilmore. She says, I'm an online business management. She's in the online business management space. So one thing, when you say an OBM, one thing that I think is really important for all of you guys is you're looking to niche down and gain confidence with your pricing, is realizing that you need to what you do needs to be super clear as to who it's for and what problem you solve. So when you say I'm an OBM or an online business manager, one thing that's really crucial is realizing that everybody has a different perception of what an OBM actually does. So I'll get even more specific in regards to what problem, instead of focusing on what service you sell, get focused on what problem you are solving and make that very, very, very clear. And that's truly the essence of what your signature service is, right? The true essence of your signature service is not necessarily what service you provide, but it's more about what problem you solve and your ability to effectively communicate that. So to quickly recap here, we've talked about why you may be lacking confidence around your pricing. It might be because you're lacking preparation and having a documented process or having a documented framework that you take your clients through when a client gets onboarded. You may be lacking confidence around your pricing because you're too broad and too generic. You need to be it needs to be specific, it needs to be niche, it needs to be specialized. Just like your job title at your 9 to 5 is, you play a specific role, you have a specific set of responsibilities, and you have a specific expectation to deliver specific results. Your signature service needs to be the exact same way. It needs to be specific, it needs to be clear, it needs to say who this is for and who this is not for, and make that very, very evident. And when it comes to raising your rates and commanding that higher price point with certainty, when you really implement the POP method by picking one problem, picking one person, and packaging one process, you now have everything you need to be successful. And you also have everything you need to communicate not just what you do, but communicate the value of what you do in a way that somebody else will understand. I think a large part of the last reason why you may be lacking confidence around your pricing is because you personally don't know how to communicate the value of what you deliver. And one thing is, a lot of time people will say, well, Jay, I know that I'm worth this much. I know that I'm a bomb with my skill set. I know that I'll be able to help somebody get these results, which may be true. But there's a difference between serving your clients and a difference between selling your services. And those are two very distinctive skill sets that you as a business owner need to acquire. Many of you, I'd say all of you guys already know how to serve your clients, right? Because you're just using skills that you already have acquired, things that you're already doing in a 9 to 5, or things you've done for free, or things you've done to help other people or that you've helped yourself with. You already have the skill. You just haven't learned how to sell. And when it comes to selling your services, you can be the best person in the world at what you do, but if you don't know how to communicate what it is that you do in a way that somebody else understands, if you don't know how to position yourself to make yourself distinctly unique and different from your competition, and if you don't know how to communicate the value of what you do, that somebody else will understand why they need to pay money for it, there's always going to be a disconnect, and you're probably going to continue to lack this confidence around your pricing, mainly because you struggle with the communication aspect, communicating the value, communicating what you do. So the last part of why you may be lacking confidence around your pricing is because you may not have learned yet how to communicate the value of what it is that you do, right? If somebody's constantly saying, well, Jay, now's not the right time, I don't have time to work with you, that's just an objection. And the reason why you're getting that objection is because you have not conveyed why this is valuable in a way that they understand, why they will not only pay, but take the time to be committed to getting the results with you. Time objection, or Jay, I don't have the money for this right now. That means you have not communicated the value of what you do in a way that somebody else will understand why they need to pay money to work with you. And those are typically the three main reasons why you're lacking confidence around your pricing. And I would love for you guys to share with me which one of those three most resonated with you. Just slide in my DMs or pop in the comments and let me know, because this is a huge, if you can't get over the mental barrier of, and really it's not a mental, part of it is a mental game, but when you have a process to follow to help you navigate how to start packaging your offer and documenting your methodology, how to, implement the POP method and pick one person and pick one problem, and really get specialize what your service is. And when you really can gain the confidence around how do I position myself and communicate the value of what I do, that will build your confidence. And that will at least give you, I think, enough momentum to at least start putting yourself out there. Because that's another thing, the reason why you may not be earning a higher price point is just because you're not charging a higher price point. Because you lack probably one of those three things, and that's what's holding you back potentially from really giving it your all. So I hope this was helpful for you guys tonight. I have put together a free mini series training. It's called Sales Made Simple. It's the beginner's guide to selling high ticket services online. So if you're somebody who's how do I get started, or what does it look like for me to, get the ball rolling, I just put together this mini training series, and I would love for you to take it. So you can click the link above this video or below in the comments, or if you're watching over here on Instagram and you're interested in it, just shoot me a DM and I'll send you the link so you can go register for the free training. It's completely self-paced, a DIY mini training course that I highly recommend that you guys check out. So I hope this was helpful for you guys. And I really hope that you can start to implement some strategies that we talked about today, so you can really not just gain the confidence, but have the courage to feel certain about your prices and actually start charging a higher price point. So hope this was helpful, guys, and I will talk to y'all soon. Bye, y'all.